Hey, remember this Starbucks That Race Together campaign urging customers to talk more about diversity? Many saying it didn't need Starbucks to tell them how to act. Well, now Starbucks is getting in on the election. Advertisements right now in the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, urging Americans to, quote, go beyond the hatred and vitriol of the 2016 campaign. To Liz MacDonald and Hadley, Heath, Manning. All right, Liz, now you say this could be Starbucks retaliating against Trump. How's that?
Maybe a retaliation, I'm not sure, but it is interesting that Donald Trump just last Christmas season called for a boycott of Starbucks because Starbucks had basically removed the symbols of the season from its cups. Some people say that wasn't that at all. It was very controversial. Take a listen to what Donald Trump said.
Did you read about Starbucks? No more Merry Christmas on Starbucks. No more. I wouldn't buy. Hey, look, I'm speaking against myself. I have one of the most successful Starbucks in Trump Tower. Maybe we should boycott Starbucks. I don't know. Seriously.
I'm not sure the two events are linked, but, you know, it is interesting that we have a very long advertisement, as you pointed out, Charles. You know, Starbucks, again, using their company as a billboard, a platform for political views. Very long advertisements showing up in the papers now.
I think we should, let the audience know. Howard Schultz is a major progressive. He's very successful, and a lot of people think eventually he wants to run for president. He's also one of the authors behind conscious capitalism. It's not a concept I agree with, Hadley, but when I look at this ad in the Wall Street Journal, he's talking about the headlines and he's talking about social media, and it's pretty clear to me he's talking at least about the GOP in general, if not Donald Trump in particular. Do you have any problems with this?
I don't have any problem with it. I think it is pretty clear, especially if you are familiar with the platform of Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz, that this is aimed at Donald Trump. He didn't name Donald Trump or any other candidate, but I support the freedom of businesses to do business in accordance with their values. It's a two-way street, and this comes right on the heels of yesterday, some nonprofit organizations arguing before the Supreme Court that they don't have to comply with the contraceptive mandate and the Affordable Care Act. So whether it's a closely held corporation like Hobby Lobby, who won at the Supreme Court last year, or now Starbucks with this ad, I believe businesses ought to be able to work, advertise, and do business in accordance with what they believe, even if I disagree.
The question is if it irritates the customers. I don't know if they want to hear at 6:30 in the morning when they're getting their lattes and their muffins about, politics. Liberace and Rolling Stone, the group, always said never mix politics with entertainment. And now we have, product placement in movies. We've got sports stars acting like, their chests are billboards for ads. Now we have political placement being done by Starbucks.
Well, certainly, Hadley, when Howard Schultz put his employees in that awkward position of writing on these cups, it was an unmitigated disaster. Now, to your point, maybe he does have a right to do this, but is there anywhere where we draw the line, because a lot of people would just like to go to Starbucks and have their coffee and not necessarily have them preach to them at the same time?
Oh, that's right. And we do see a lot of virtue signaling in various advertising campaigns from a lot of different products and brands. It's not so much about selling the coffee in this case, but it's about selling these so-called virtues that are listed on one side of the column in this latest Starbucks ad. They want to associate their brand with those things and bring in a subset of customers to whom that is appealing. But of course, they risk turning off another subset of consumers who don't want any business with the progressive Democrat issues that Howard Schultz and his company may be supporting.
Right, and also shareholders. So no small irony at the recent shareholder meeting in Seattle, while Starbucks, Howard Schultz, and the ad is talking about man's inhumanity to man, calling for more civilized order. They didn't have enough seats in the hall, the convention hall, so some of these investors were left out in the cold and the rain. So there's no small irony there, but you got to wonder if investors are going to say, you know what, lighten up.
All right, guys, thanks a lot.